Alright, buckle up, because my last dive on the reef wasn't just another dip into paradise, it was a full-blown underwater mystery. Years of gliding through the coral gardens has lulled me into a comfortable predictability. Parrotfish chomping, brain coral grooving, maybe a lazy nurse shark snoozing under a ledge. You know the drill. But this time, bam! I descended into a world where the purple tube sponges were hitting the gym harder than a January resolutioner. Seriously, these things were massive, like violet chimneys, reaching for the sun-dappled surface. Now, my usual reef rendezvous happens in November, a perfectly lovely time, mind you. This unexpected May visit had my brain buzzing like a startled anemone. Hold on, sea cucumber. I thought, bubbles escaping my regulator in a flurry of contemplation. Do these majestic purple cylinders ever have a growing season? The question clung to me tighter than a cleanfish on a rock. It's not every day you see the familiar turned fantastical. Coral reefs, these breathtaking underwater metropolises, are a testament to life's tenacity. Covering at less than a measly 1% of the ocean floor, they somehow manage to house an astounding quarter of all marine life species. Talking about efficient real estate, they've earned their rainforest of the seas moniker, and for good reason. The sheer biodiversity is mind-blowing. But back to my oversized purple pals. Throughout the rest of my dive, my eyes became laser-focused. Was everything else supersized too? No. The elkhorn coral looked its usual regal self. The brain coral still resembled a submerged cranium, and the sea fans swayed with their typical grace. It was just the purple tube sponges, standing tall and proud like the violet skyscrapers of this underwater city, a genuine reef riddle. These vibrant tubes I knew were the unsung heroes of water clarity, diligently filtering the currents. They also serve as cozy condos for cleaner shrimp and a host of other tiny invertebrates. This wasn't just about a big sponge. It hinted at a potential shift in the reef's rhythm. I was suddenly on a mission to unravel the possible links between the impressive size of these purple filters and the subtle seasonal shifts in their underwater world. The dance of underwater temperature, the buffet of nutrients available, and the shifting curtains of light penetration. Here's what my underwater sleuthing and a bit of post-dive pondering conjured up as potential explanations for this purple giantism. May's Mediterranean spa treatment. Think about it. May in the Caribbean often heralds the prelude to the steamy summer months. Warmer waters coupled with potential spring blooms of plioplankton as the water layers begin to stratify could create a five-star buffet for these filter feeders. More food equals more sponge bulk. It's simple, spongeonomics. The spring spurt. Maybe these purple tubes have a secret growth spurt in late spring and early summer. It could be their way of bulking up before potential stress of peak summer, like those pesky coral bleaching events. Though thankfully, sponges are generally tougher. Prenuptial nourishment. Just like us prepping for a big event, maybe the sponges were loading up on nutrients before or just after a reproductive phase in May. All of that energy has to go somewhere, right? And what better way to show off than with some impressive girth? November's nuances. Let's face it, November can sometimes bring choppier seas and slightly cool temperatures compared to the gentle embrace of May. These less than ideal conditions might put a slight damper on the sponge's growth or even cause minor wear and tear. May, on the other hand, could be their uninterrupted growth utopia. The wild card of nature. Sometimes Mother Nature just throws us a curveball. There could be a natural year-to-year variation in their environment conditions that simply favor sponge growth during this particular May. What the science scrolls whisper about corals and sponges in general. Coral summer tans. Scientific studies often reveal that Caribbean corals tend to lay down more calcium carbonate during the warmer, sunnier summer months. This makes sense. More sunshine means more photosynthesis for their symbiotic algae, fueling their growth. Sponge growth, while less intensely studied for strict seasonality, is generally linked to water temperature. The availability of their microscopic meals, plankton, bacteria, dissolved organic goodies, water flow, gotta have those nutrients, and overall nutrient levels. warmer temperatures usually rev up the metabolism of the marine invertebrate. Sponges and corals have fundamentally different dining habits. Corals rely on symbiotic relationships and filter feeding to a lesser extent, while sponges are dedicated filter feeding machines. So their growth response to seasonal shifts might not be perfectly in sync. My bottom line and my local knowledge. While the scientific literature might not have a specific chapter titled Why Purple Tube Sponges Get Super Buff in May, I've got a hunch, and it's not just about temperature or sunlight. The Caribbean has distinct wet and dry seasons. My usual November dive trip often coincides with the tail end of the wet period, while May is decidedly drier. Could it be water quality? Perhaps the increased runoff during the wetter months like November brings more sediment and particulate matter into the water, potentially hindering the sponge's filter feeding efficiency and thus their growth. May's clear, drier conditions might offer a pristine aquatic environment, allowing them to feast and flourish. Smash that like button and subscribe to feast on Undersea G's content. So while the science may not have a definitive answer yet, my seasoned diver's intuition combined with a little local seasonal knowledge points toward water quality as a significant factor. Want to see more of G? Click here. What do you think? Dive into the comments below and share your theories. This underwater enigma has me hooked, and we will see you here next time on Undersea G. Dad joke, why did the scuba diver do a double take in May? Because the purple tube sponges were so big they looked like they had been hitting the kelp cake buffet all winter and were finally ready to spring into summer. Oh, that's terrible. Here you go. Why were the purple tube sponges so big in May? Because they heard it was major growth season and they didn't want to be too small for the occasion. Last chance, try this. Why were the purple tube sponges so unusually large when the divers saw them in May? Because they heard it was Make Your Sponges Bigger month, and they really took it to heart. I just quit. That's terrible.